dealing with life as it gets in the way of the things you really want to be doing about the Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we have an important Talk About It Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about dealing with life as it gets in the way of the things you really want to be doing about the things you're really passionate about. And we've got updates, lots and lots of updates. I'm Mike and you are watching Mike Our Shop. Many of you are aware of our vehicle situation. The Hemi truck has been broken down for over a year. Both of the Mini Cooper Clubmans have had issues. I've been working on those off camera. But a month ago, Becky's Countryman broke down and was in the shop for a month. We just got it back yesterday. The bill is outrageous. And it still has another issue, and I don't have a tissue. We're going to get it fixed, and then it's going to go to its next owner who will love it. We have made some decisions about simplifying our lives a lot and going to a much simpler time automotively, which fits more in with both of us, where we like to live, how we like to live, and all of that stuff. So we've got updates regarding the vehicles big time. But what's been happening is, because of being down to 2 classic vehicles to drive as our daily drivers, I've spent a ton of time off camera working on stuff, trying to keep things going so that we have reliable vehicles to get us from point A to point B. With the exception of 1 week where my dad was gracious and let us borrow his minivan, Becky's been driving Wanda, which makes me look at the truck through different eyes and got me really motivated to do a whole bunch of updates and upgrades, and I've shared some of that with you. I've done a ton more. I've done a bunch of painting. The truck is all black now. All of the trim is back on except for the Dodge emblem on the hood, which I still have to find. It's here in a container somewhere. But the truck is running good. We had a vapor lock problem. I found there was a fuel line against the exhaust from a previous mechanic who worked on it. I took care of that. So our hot weather dying condition is done. We've fixed brakes. That's been here on the channel. There's just been a lot. Our 2013 Mini has become a parts donor for our 2014 Mini. We got all the brakes done. I filmed that. It's an episode. It may be a members only episode. I'm not sure yet. I still have a broken spring on the front. Temporarily, I'm just going to pull the spring out of the 13 to put on the 14 so we can take those 2 cars and make one good one. The 13 has some pretty serious electrical issues. I will get to it eventually, but it's not priority right now. But that's something else I've been working on a lot as I've had time. It is the upside of having classic cars. When all else fails, pull out a classic, drive that. You've always got something to fail back on. Scoops has been behaving really well. Been driving it more distances. I drove it to my dad's to get the minivan. He lives about 45 miles from here. First time drove it on the freeway since I've owned it. The car is just running better and better all the time. It needs some U-joints, I believe. It's got a drivetrain vibration, and I don't think we ever balanced the tires once we put the rally wheels on it, so I need to get that done. It's not bad, but it's got a little vibration in the drivetrain and in the tires that needs to be taken care of. The beautiful thing about that car, 9.5 to 1 compression, 284 cam, a Holley 600 carburetor on that. With a 270 gear, I'm still getting 20 miles to the gallon on regular gas. I got the timing back down so it doesn't spark knock. The car's running phenomenal. And to be able to drive a car that sounds that good and has that much power and still get 20 miles to the gallon, that's a winner chicken dinner. Obviously, you need to do you and do you well. But for me, it is one of the blessings and the benefits of having some fairly reliable classic cars that get us through the tough times. It has also made Becky and I sit down and just really reevaluate where we're at and where we want to be going. We're making forward motion on the big truck project that's coming. That will probably be here before too long. You've not seen that. I've not said much about it. But that is a piece in this. We have like 3 layers in this where we have our immediate need, which is getting everything back and running and reliable, swapping over to some very specific vehicles that are older that we're going to bring into the corral here and make part of the projects and part of our lifestyle, and getting rid of the expensive technology cars And then the third is the huge, big picture of where we're going that all ties together our home, our life, our homestead, our lifestyle, and the MKS channel and all the things we do here. So it's pretty cool, actually, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you as it unfolds. It's going to be a while, and I'm not ready to go into all of it yet. But I'm pretty excited about it, and actually she is too. Quite frankly, I've never seen her spend so much time scouring Facebook Marketplace, looking at vehicles and sharing things with me like that, and personally and selfishly. That's a lot of fun. This weekend right now, which is around the 17th of May, 18th of May, something like that, is a Stitches weekend. So you guys are getting to see the finishing up of the trunk floor installation and a lot of details. I'd hoped to be back on this. There's one or two more episodes coming, I think, on that. There's still some stuff that needs to be done on this car. There's a lot of orange that needs to be taken care of back there. I had hoped that my antique Sinclair gas pump that's outside the shop was going to sell. I had a guy who was interested in it. We're a ways apart on the price. What he wants to give me for it, I don't feel is it's not what I want for it. I don't really want to sell it. So yes, I know my price is a little higher, but I do know the market value on that pump, and I'm still giving him a really good deal on it. So point is, if that sells or something else, a bigger dollar item sells around here, I'm going to take a couple $100 and get the lizard skin to spray on the bottom of Stitches. I'm kind of on hold right now because of that. I actually intend to write a letter to Lizard Skin, whoever makes it, and see if they're willing to donate some product to the channel so that I can demonstrate it and give a fair, unbiased review of that product for them. We'll see. Sometimes these companies are willing. The channel's not huge, but big enough that it might be some good PR for them if it's a good review. So that kind of stuff's always going on in my mind as well. One of the things that's going to happen is Becky is going to make the Cadillac her daily once I get it back on the road. We've got a problem with the PK3 security system in that car. It will not crank with the key. I think the PK3 has lost its key coding. I can jump the relay or the purple wire under the hood. Either one will work. I can make it fire, I can make it start, and it dies immediately. And then, of course, because the PK3 isn't correct, it is triggering the security alarm. I've been able to clear the security alarm when I trigger it, but I can't get the thing to recognize PK3. I'm trying to see if there's a hack. One thing I do know is there's a wire in the steering column that you can cut and then pre-program the PK3 to not read the security keys. Problem I've got is if the PK3 module is bad, which it could be, that's not going to work, and I'm a little bit concerned. I just got to think it through. The code reader that I have doesn't go deep enough to be able to reset the PK3. I've been through the PK3 reset. Can I say PK3 one more time? I've been through the reset procedure trying to get that module to read the key. So far to no avail. So I'm a little bit stuck on that. The last time I had that car running was last fall. It was fine. It would start by the key. It had a miss on cylinder number 5. But right now I can't even get it to run. So it's a little frustrating. Once we get Becky's mini situation straightened out, I may call my buddy Mike and say, hey, can you bring your thing out here? I'll pay you, and get this dang thing cleared out so that we can get it running again. Of course, the other option is throw it on the trailer and just bring it up to him and get it done that way. So we'll see. Normally, as the weather gets better, I put aside the fabrication projects and try to focus more on the summer driver cars. 47 needs some work on the starter. Obviously, we have a lot of interior work to do on that car yet. I would like to be working on that, but I've decided to kind of stall that project right now because of the bigger picture of dealing with issues that affect our life as far as the dailies go. I probably will fix the starter. There's a car show coming up in a couple weeks. I'm thinking of taking that car in the Oakland. The Oakland's going to depend on my dad. He's been gone out of town. He's hopefully back now. I'm going to give him a call. We've got to tear the engine in the Oakland apart and check everything. So we need to decide if he's going to that car show. We will wait until after that to do that. If he's not going to that car show, then we're going to get into that really soon. We do need to check that engine before we put any more miles on that. It's been a couple years now. We've put maybe 100 miles on it. It's time to probably more than 100 miles. It's time to check everything, make sure we don't have shavings in the oil pan, that kind of stuff. Speaking of Oakland, you've heard me talk about Wayne Koffel, the guy that I would always get my parts from. Didn't ever met him in person, but we kind of became friends over the years of working on the Oakland. Unfortunately, Wayne just passed away a couple months ago now, but yeah, probably a couple months ago. That's a huge loss to the Oakland community, and rest in peace, buddy. Really, really going to miss you. Coming up real soon, I'm probably going to do some firing up videos, probably a video firing up a bunch of cars. 69 Charger hasn't been run since last year. 68 Pro Street GTS hasn't been run since last year. So we're going to get those cars fired up at some point here and make sure that all the lubricants get flowing around and the batteries are charged back up again. And I know the battery in the GTS is good. I think I pulled the battery out of the Charger. I am going to be working on the Charger this summer because I want to keep moving forward on that car for my son. Hopefully we can get that car closer to being on the road soon. So stick around for that. You definitely aren't going to want to miss that car. That's the sister car to Stitches. Going to be on the Foresight this summer for sure. I need to just stop procrastinating and get that inner rocker panel done so we can start putting in the torsion bar cross member and the floor pans that we've purchased. We got a whole pile of parts for this car that's been purchased over the years, and I really want to get some big progress on this car soon. I think it's important to get that thing closer so when that comes off, this can go on. So I've been focused on Stitches because it's getting so close to being a roller again, and that's important. I'm going to keep focusing on that, but I am going to take a weekend here soon when all of the planets align. We're going to move stuff out of the way, and we are going to just hammer on the Foresight and get that inner rocker panel done on the driver's side. I wish we could buy that part. I've searched and searched and searched, and the part is just not available anymore anywhere that I can find. So it's not a big deal to make it. It's just that's kind of been what's held me back from getting it done. So no excuses, but I just couldn't handle doing a major fabrication project on the Challenger and trying to do major fabrication on the Duster. So that is definitely going to be moving forward soon. Something else that's been happening, and Becky's been doing a lot of legwork on this as well, is trying to find a standard cab long box or a crew cab short box chassis, Dakota, first gen, so 87 to 96. Something for a few $100. The body can be falling off of it. I'd like a complete truck if possible. Be even better if it was a V8 truck. Not necessary. The main thing we need is a rolling chassis to put the 39 cab on. I had hoped to be actually working on the 39 today to get the grille support and fender supports off, and also to start getting the cab put together. My intention was to get that car partially pulled up onto the big orange implement trailer that we have and get it dragged around here where it's easier to work on. But the weather didn't cooperate today. It's been raining off and on all day, and it's just not a good day to be doing that. So next nice day that I have availability, that's probably going to happen. We're going to jack the front of that truck up, get it pulled up onto the back of the implement trailer and drag it around up here where we can more easily work on that. She and I are going to be working on that project together, so you can look forward to that. I'm going to be teaching her how to do some of the metal work, and she's going to be doing some of the welding. You've seen her do other things. She's really good at helping me do sheet metal work when it comes to fabricating as far as bead roller work and shrinking and stretching and stuff like that. But I want to teach her how to do some dent repair and weld in some patches. And you've seen her do electrical. She's amazing with automotive electricals. So I'm excited about that. She's just super, super busy. So that's going to be the challenge of, me doing a lot of the grunt leg work, getting everything ready so that she can kind of blow in like the superhero and do the I don't want to say the easy stuff because it's not, but like scoop up the cream and take the glory, that kind of stuff. I'm really, and again, I don't mean that in any negative way at all. I feel like that's my job, is to get everything ready so she can come in and then boom, do that thing that needs to be done next. We've not talked about the golden mullet. It's not that there's not things happening. Matter of fact, this past week, Chris and I had spent a lot of time talking about chassis table design and also talking about rear suspension design. I've been thinking about doing a Tech Talk Tuesday talking about different types of rear suspension geometry, how it works, what's important, what's not important, 4-link ladder bar, Caltrax bar, leaf spring with pinion snubbers, with super stock springs, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I've done a video on that. It was really good as Chris was asking questions about how I'm going to build the rear suspension on this car. I'm really leaning towards going with a full-blown 4-link on this, and in my own mind, just having to go back and revisit some of that, think it through, because it's been a long time since I worked on stuff like that, and just kind of refresh my memory on the physics, the geometry, and the engineering of that stuff. That was fun. But point is, we are moving forward on still gathering, but we're moving forward on chassis table design, so that when the stitches and the foresight are done and able to be moved around, we can start building that chassis table to build that full tube chassis that we're going to be putting under that 67 Plymouth. I'm hoping that with the reprioritization, refocusing on goals and priorities, we're going to be going through a tumultuous time of just changing up a lot of stuff in our lifestyle, especially in the transportation part of our life. But I think in the end, it's going to be good. It's going to give us a more cohesive life set of goals, priorities. It's going to cut out a tremendous amount of expense. So overall, I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, there's a lot of sweat equity that's going to have to be put into things, especially initially. We'll share that journey with you as it happens. So the point of today's talk about it is, yes, updates, but also to pose you the question, what's your failover? Do you have, if you're into this stuff like I am, do you have vehicles in your corral that can be your backups should your daily stuff fail on you? No, granted, not everybody's in a financial situation where that matters. But I think with the economy the way it's been, a lot of us are hurting and struggling, and I think it's good to reprioritize and just think through some of those things. And so that's the question from today. Drop it down there in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Remember, around here, it's not about spending the money, but it's about putting in the time, because why would you buy something if you could make it yourself? I think that's really important. I think it's really a set of values that I believe is going to be coming back in big ways, especially as parts availability becomes less and less, as well as the expense of parts. Unbelievable how expensive the parts are for these newer cars. All right, that's going to do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. I'm just kind of rambling, but I wanted to share kind of where things are at with you. I hope it makes some sense. Drop your questions down there. Don't forget our merchandise. It's down there in the comments. We got the store fixed. Some of you were saying that you went there and the merchandise was gone. I got with Cindy. She got that taken care of, and all the merchandise is back there now. Also, remember, we have channel memberships. From as little as $5 a month, you can have access to a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff here in the shop. All right, plus special messages and special things that I send to channel members that nobody else sees. All right, catch you on the next one. Whoa!